Okay, this is a 9-year-old Beagle who's suffered for about the last 4 or 5 years continuously with terrible skin problems. She just scratches and scratches until she just makes herself raw. And I want to show you a couple spots. I've tried just about everything, but I want to show you a couple spots. This under her neck, she loves to scratch herself here. And as you can see, come here baby. As you can see, she's scratched herself till the skin is really red and there's not a whole lot of fur left. Also, on the sides here, you can see that the fur is very, very thin. And she just scratches and scratches and scratches. You can see, if you get a real close-up, you can see that the skin is actually very flaky. Let's see if you can see those flakes. But see, it comes right off. It's almost like a horrible case of dandruff. And she also has it on the other side. And you can see she scratched so much that she's got no fur. She also likes to pick at her armpits here. This spot here, under her, you know, in the crease here in her armpit, she'll bite at that until it just becomes red and so raw and irritated. And a couple of times I've actually seen it bleed a little bit. And she catches the other side too, and she can't stop. I don't know if this is a nervous condition or a skin condition. It might be a combination of both. But I am determined to stop this problem because she has been to 4 different vets. The vets say the same thing. You got to change foods. We've tried probably about 5 or 6 different foods, and all grain-free. You know, on the list of 4- and 5-star foods, high in protein, and most of the ingredients, the first 3 ingredients are all proteins from meats, and still we don't seem to have any relief. And you know, the vets, they do prescribe the prednisone, which actually does work. It stops the scratching and the dog gets a little break. And the problem is, and the skin, you know, heals up a little bit and the fur comes back, but the problem is, eventually, when you stop the medication, the problem will eventually return, and she starts scratching and she tears herself up again. Along with the prednisone, we've tried, of course, the anti-fungals, we've tried antibiotics, we've tried different shampoos, and it's really horrible because, you know, the dog is suffering with this. She doesn't have a break. When she was young, we didn't have this problem, but it seems to be continuous now. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to try a few different things that we've never tried before, and we're going to see if we can fix this problem. So let's start out first by using a shampoo that is actually designed for humans. Now here's the thing, most shampoos, most medicated shampoos, or actually I would say just about 100% of all medicated shampoos that are used on humans, unfortunately are tested on animals first. So we already know that. So it's going to be safe for my dog. If anything, you got to be careful with pH. They say that the pH is not right. It could be a little bit of an irritant. Well, you know what? We already have an irritation problem. So we're trying to find solutions, and the vets don't have any solutions. So the first product is actually a seborrheic dermatitis formula. It's used for people that also is, of course, has antibiotic properties, and we're going to try that first. Let's get going. And Bailey, she at first doesn't like to get sprayed, but once she starts getting the spray, she realizes it's actually not so terrible. And we're in the state of Florida, and it's almost 90 degrees today, so don't be concerned about the cold water hose. She doesn't mind so much. So we're gonna thoroughly wet her down so we can lather her up with some of this medicated shampoo. Okay. All right, so the product we're going to use, it's called Mexar, and it's sodium sulfactamide, 10%, and this is a shampoo that's used for people that have seborrheic dermatitis, which is a fancy word for dandruff, and it also has an antibacterial property to it. So this is a sample, and we're just going to go ahead and scrub this into her fur, and we're going to see how this goes. So we're going to lather her up. Technically, whenever you use these types of things, I'm not a vet, by the way, but since the vets don't have solutions to these problems, I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to get this thing done myself, like most good pet owners would try. So probably the best thing to do is to get her back on the steroid for a short period of time, so at least it gives her a break while we can treat the skin problem, because as she keeps on scratching and scratching, even with something like this, it may not be enough to stop the scratch long enough to give the skin and fur a chance to heal. So let's go ahead and start. Let's wet her down a little bit for a second more. Make sure she's thoroughly wet. Yeah, I'll probably have to use at least 3 of these things, maybe 4 of these little tubes.
How many did you bring up?
I have 4 total, so if I can't get it done with the 4 I have, we'll have to move on to something else. But let's get the other one. Come here, baby. Get her down a little wet here. Where's the scissors? You see the scissors?
They're behind you. Behind you.
Let's concentrate on the trouble spots, which in her case is under her neck. Get this stuff on there really good. we're going to concentrate again on those trouble spots. Her neck, under her neck is terrible. And she's really scratching herself silly to her point where it's raw. And I think the more she scratches, the more it itches, and the more it bothers her. So and this is the last one, so we have to make this last 2 count. Okay, so we're probably going to just let that sit. Since it's a medicated shampoo, we're going to let that sit for a few more minutes. Let it really, really work. And hopefully it'll help kill some bacteria, because you know, she also has this smell coming off of her that I think we all know. It's kind of like a musky dog smell, and she never used to have that. And the more she scratches and the more raw her skin is, the worse the smell seems to be. Come on, Bailey. Almost done, almost done, almost done. Alright, and let's let her dry off in the sun a little bit. And this is part 1. I'm going to clean her bedding. I'm going to clean it, wash her stuff out really, really well. And make sure she's dry. And we'll see how this works for her. If you like the video, please subscribe, because you're going to get part 2, and give me a thumbs up if you think this is helping. Thank you.